Hello. Can you hear us?
Hey, team. So keen to do this pod tonight.
Oh, no. Is that you? Oh, is that you? Mute your computer. God. Ben's on the chat tonight, so if you see him squinting at his laptop, he's trying to read your comments. Yeah, they are, Lizzie.
At least you know the sound works.
What?
At least you know the sounds work.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, thanks, Ben.
We're coming through loud and clear.
Ben tested that out for us. All right. We're going to have a non-Lauren or Dan host for the first time in a long time.
Yes.
I feel very slightly nervous now. Even though
Do everything.
Yeah.
Just press that for the whole hour.
I reckon. Yeah, I'm hosting, so I get to say and press whatever I like, Ben. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Here We Crow for another week of talking about our favourite football team, the Adelaide Crows. Welcome, Lauren.
You sound so sarcastic about it. Hi.
Hello, Ben.
Howdy, they are genuinely my favourite football team.
They are? Yeah. Okay, that's good.
I like him.
Yeah, well, we're missing Dan tonight. He's laid out again. Sort of sick kid, so hopefully, I'm not sure. Did he actually say which one of his children it was?
Shout out to Violet and Margot, whichever one it is.
Yeah, hopefully you feel better tomorrow. Yeah, look, we're back here. I threatened to play a replay of our last podcast after we played Colling-Wood.
Maybe we should have.
It probably would have sufficed, I think. Another very disappointing 10-ish point loss to a team that has had the wood over us. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. What else are we doing tonight? I didn't really have any goods and bads. Look, it's going to be a bit of a shambles episode, I think. We'll probably have a bit of a chat.
Yeah, maybe we'll pose a Crows question. So if you've got one, throw it in the chat. We're taking your comments, basically.
Yeah, please. If you haven't really ever thrown us a comment, tonight's the night because we're lacking content.
It's because we're just so over it.
Yeah. This is week by week. This is genuinely getting tougher. I think even just generally football related, I'm becoming slightly less and less enthusiastic. But anyway, that's not for now. I don't want to put
Here we Crows over.
There you go. Despite it's the best it's ever been, I thought.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't want to put a downer on it before Ben's quiz.
Not.
Well, I think you've already failed at that.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Do we have Ben's thing? Is that on here?
Oh no,
or are we still missing
I still can't get that app to work.
Oh.
So yeah, no.
It's still not?
It's still missing, sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Well, Ben, you go for it, mate.
We're just calling this the curse segment. I think last week it was all me just sounding like
something like that.
Yes.
Dan did put them
25.
in the drive, so you can feel free to sort that out.
Okay, I'll do that. Yep.
But anyway, no stinger. So
yeah. Also, we didn't have the screen up. Sorry, I got nervous.
It's episode 121, by the way. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay,
no, I
just
didn't.
checking.
No, actually, I didn't. Good. Ben would have. Go on, Ben.
Episode 121, our debut player. Geez, I'll be impressed if you remember much about this guy. Stuart Bone.
Ooh.
How do I not remember Stuart Bone? What a name.
And that's not spelt like leg bone. That's
B-O-H-N.
No, it's like brown without an R.
It's Bowen.
Oh,
it's
Bowen.
Bowen without an E. Bone.
Yeah, wow. Okay. No, I've never heard of that guy.
So 4 games between 2001 and 2001. So, and 4 is a bit of a through line for him. So 4 games, he wore 44. And there's a Broken Hill link. He's from Broken Hill. Our current Isaac Cumming from Broken Hill.
Number 44.
44.
Oh,
Was
wow.
that his inspiration?
Yeah, maybe.
Does he know
They've
who
gone back
Stuart
into the
Bone
archives.
was?
Does he know Stuart Bone?
So
Cheese
that's
bone.
a little guess. And debut 121. You add up all those numbers, it equals 4.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. This is Cam Mooney numerology.
This is struggling to find much other information about Stuart Bone. Is what it is. So
No LinkedIn page then?
no, well, not that I could find. So, unsurprisingly minimal info post-football. After AFL, he did play 200 games for Nord. So, he was a long-standing SANFL player. So, there you go. 2021 for the men. Where did we finish?
2021. Bottom?
No, it was like
Fourth bottom.
16th or 15th?
15th.
Yeah.
You could also be right. I don't know. What's fourth bottom get you? 14th?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Bottom
15th.
four.
Yeah. 15th. So, club champ?
Rory Laird,
Yep. Goal kicker?
Taylor
Yes.
Walker.
Yeah, just insert text for a little while, I think. Interesting to me facts. So, had a few memorable wins. We started round one. That was the 12-point win over Geelong, where they were coming back. If it had gone for another 5 minutes, we might have been in strife.
Yeah, I
but
remember
we
that. Yep.
beat them after they were coming off a grand final. And this was the 1-point win over Melbourne, where it was definitely not insufficient content.
I want to go back to the Geelong game because I think we skipped over that. That game was one of the greatest moments of my life.
Yeah.
I reckon I was crying at 3/4 time because I was just so proud of how they went about it. Like, not many teams are getting a standing ovation at quarter time. That was a really moving, and maybe that was the show of promise from the Crows, which is why I've stuck around for this long.
How long did that optimism and pride last?
I've got it for a little bit longer.
We started the season 3-1.
It was until we beat Melbourne by 1 point, and then I was up about again.
Well, we beat Melbourne. They were undefeated that season until they played us. And this was the game where I think you had a few early beverages that game, Sam, because we watched that one down by the boundary line. You were
did you ring the bell early?
You were having a lot of conversations to anyone who was around us that game.
Yeah, I'd had a couple of beers that
A
evening.
few warm-ups before the game.
Yeah.
So, but yes, that was a very, very exciting game. That
It
one
was.
to win by a point.
We were very lucky to win too.
Yep, and we were right. We were right in that pocket where it all finished up. So,
Oh wow, you got a Ned McHenry ball to the face almost.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So there you go. And then the other exciting win from that year was the comeback Thilthorpe kick over the head win up against the Saints up in Cairns.
That was such a good one.
So
Miracle worker.
After 2020, we did win seven games.
And that was Josh Worrell's debut game, I'm pretty
It was.
sure.
Wow, what a debut.
Well, how far he's come.
Yep.
Yes.
So some goods and a lot of bads for that season, but some pretty high highs I would have thought for a team that's finished 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and then it got terrible from there. Yeah.
In terms of player stats for 1-2-1, we have for 121 games with us was Darren Jarman. So there you go.
Excellent.
Now, the women.
I like your pauses. Like, do I need to say something here?
So, well, that's
I'm
not-
just experiencing what Lawrence had to deal with for 120 episodes.
I just wait for him to keep going.
So, all right, well, that didn't hit. Let's go on to the next thing. So, for the women for 2021, where did we finish?
Top. Bottom.
Third.
Second.
Oof.
So 8 wins, 3 losses. We made it to the grand final, but that was the year we lost to Brisbane at Adelaide Oval. So frustrating. Big factor in that was we did not have our captain in Chelsea Randall due to a concussion in the prelim.
Oh, that was the worst.
So her in the team might have had a big change in that result. So club champ?
And Hatchard.
Nope.
Marinoff.
Yep. And goal kicker?
Danielle Ponta.
Nope.
Aaron Phillips.
Yep. So, that's 14.
Kicked a goal.
It's like our votes most week.
So 14 goals for her. So that was pretty good. And to finish
And
up,
she's 40 today, by the way. So happy birthday, Aaron. Yeah.
there you go. Finishing up is our draft from the end of 2021. So in the mid-season, this must have been our first. Is this our first ever mid-season pick with Paddy Parnell?
Oh, yeah.
That must have been when it started. But in the national draft, first pick with number 6 was one young Rochelle.
Yes.
Yep.
36 we got Saligo. 44 we went with Zach Taylor. Pre-season draft we got Luke Nankervis. So
Scallywags ahoy.
Not so far, not too many misses there. There's some weird rookie action going on with Ben Davis, but that's not super relevant.
Yes.
So,
No.
but yeah.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
not
Well,
a
it's a
bad,
pretty good draft.
Yeah, good.
You know, you happy with that? I
Yep.
think this is sort of where we started to rescue the drafts.
Yep.
Thankfully.
So there you go.
After those weeks and weeks
It
of you
was a
saying
good crop that year.
a good
you'd
crop.
say?
Yes, you could say that. Yeah, a good crop. All right, are you done?
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right. All right, let's talk about the stupid game. Oh, that's not it. Which one do I want?
Well,
is that
no,
not
it's
even
not
on
the
here?
sample,
Oh,
right?
this one. Wait, you got to do the little
Sorry.
Collingwood 11-12, 78 to Adelaide 10-8, 68. So we've lost to Collingwood by 10 points-ish again.
Too many goals we didn't kick that we should have kicked.
What did you guys tip last week? I can't remember.
I'm the only one that tipped the Crows, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I had a 15-point loss.
Yeah, okay. So I think we all sort of, I don't know, we all knew it was going to be a tough game. Collingwood at the MCG is not going to be an easy game. They're obviously a very well-coached team and have
Flying at the moment
You
as
see them on
well.
paper, and their team just doesn't look that good, but they're just so well drilled. They play for McRae so well. So it was always going to be a tough game. It was just very, very disappointing to see us come out and play a style that just would not have shocked Collingwood in any way, shape, or form, and they did what they needed to win. I think you can give us some small positives that we would, that we stayed with them. I know Ben's going to talk about the goal kicking, no doubt.
Well, apparently, I think it has an effect on how good your football is.
It is. As you know, I hate using bad goal kicking as an excuse for losing a game. And I just think in this circumstance, you just can't blame the goal kicking for us losing this game. We kick one or two of those goals.
Well, it's not about
Collingwood.
blaming it for that, but it has a massive effect.
It definitely hindered us for sure.
It hinders
I mean,
us.
especially with I think more to the point, it wasn't that we didn't kick hard goals. It was like we missed really easy set shots, which really probably killed our momentum quite a bit. But the other thing is that we had, it looked like we had zero pressure on Collingwood whenever they'd get that ball in their defensive 50, they were just streaming to their forward 50 and we were nowhere.
Yeah.
Felt like they had 10 more players on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that game, maybe not the goal. Like, I just think that if, say, we'd had kicked all three of those goals, not that, you kick one, it obviously changes the rest of the game. But I just think that Collingwood still would have won the game. Like, I just think they had us covered just generally as a game style. Their team just is so frustrating because you look at it and you'd take our team on paper any day over theirs, but they just are so well drilled. I don't know. Like, what do you think? Well, what's your I'm pretty negative after that game. I really didn't like it.
Well, again, I like the umpiring just made it almost unwatchable, and I'm not blaming the umpires for the Crows loss, which people on Twitter seem to think that every Crows fan does as soon as you mention the umpiring. But it was shocking.
Yeah.
I don't mind plays going against us or calls going against us if it's the correct call, but too many weird calls and soft 50s it's just annoying at this point.
Fogarty's was dumb though.
That was
there.
silly. That was stupid of him
Yeah.
because as commentator said, I can't remember who was commentating, but you got to play to the whistle, so he should have known.
And they pay marks that are touch like that
all the time,
50
yeah.
times a game. He knows better than that.
Well, you should know that, we're not a team that are allowed to be aggressive like that. Other teams, they're just putting on the pressure. Us, we're
Nick
being
Dacos does
undisciplined.
that.
So
I think they let Collingwood's niggling get to them a little bit.
Yeah.
And, I don't think the weather helped at all, to be honest.
It didn't help when we had the team
I think,
that we did.
we talk about game style though. I think the weather did dictate how both teams played. It was very down the line, contested sort of ball. So I don't think Collingwood necessarily always played the way they wanted to play.
Just
but
seemed
they're still good enough to win though, weren't they?
Yeah, by 10 points.
Yeah.
They didn't blow us off the park. You're talking like we got belted.
No.
And we were never in with a chance.
I'm not talking like we got belted, but we were never winning that game, which, we haven't beaten Collingwood for how long? We think we're getting better, but we're not going to get better until we're beating some of these sides that we can't beat.
We were within a goal for most of the game, and then it just went out a bit going into the last quarter. I think there was always a chance for us to get a run on. It never came.
All I'm saying is I just don't think we're anywhere near as good as we maybe think we are. Like,
I think it's like
Dunno.
it's at us, and it's hard to really like say that definitively, because I still think like, I don't know, Collingwood, yes, that was a test, and yes, like ideally we win that game, and that does show the progression. But at the same time, like I'm not like so worried about losing that game that it's like this is the end.
No.
This is the end times. You know what I mean? Like maybe on a sunny, nice day we do win that game. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
well, that's where our coaching stuff needs to be better, though, doesn't it? Like, why did Tex play? Like, he didn't need to play that game. We could have gone in. Barry could have played from the start, and then who knows what happens in that game? Like,
well, I guess that's the thing. You don't know, do you?
If Tex didn't play, maybe Fogg doesn't get his 4 goals. Don't know.
Filthy was nowhere near it. There's a lot of players at the moment that don't seem to really be having much of an impact that is noticeable. Ben Keys like super quiet on the weekend.
Settle down.
Like,
not my Ben Keys.
No, not Ben.
I don't say
sorry.
anything bad about him.
Well, he just like where normally that's a kind of game where you see him like flaring, and like where was he? Alex Neil-Bullen, Isaac Cumming, like players like that, kind of just nowhere near it.
Yeah.
And it's like, we just have to have the entire team firing, I feel. And when that comes, like, again, that's just games played experience, and hopefully it does like kind of lift from here.
I think my biggest thing is like it feels like when we win games, it's because our players just win their positions on each line. So like it just feels like we kick it forward. If they win that contest, then we keep moving the ball forward. Sounds obvious. Obviously, that's how football is played. But it feels like when that breaks down, we have nothing behind that system-wise to keep games in check. Like I just feel like however we're setting up just doesn't feel as good as other teams.
Well,
like
I mean,
when things aren't going their way.
I agree, but at least like this, I think this time like Jeremy Howe was like killing us in that back line with the intercept marks, but we made a positional change to stop that from happening. So I still feel like, we're on track. We're still on track, I feel.
Yeah.
It was just really disappointing, like because I think we could have played heaps better,
I think one thing we did a good job of is we minimised Nick Dacos's impact in the game. Like he still had a fair few possessions, but
didn't get a coach's vote, I'll have you know.
So kept him quiet.
Josh Dacos got 10 though. So
yeah, Josh Dacos.
Josh Dacos was killing us. And
he was very good.
That again, I'm like, who's playing on Josh Dacos?
And I think to your point in terms of the way they went forward, a bit more of a surge. There was quick handballs running forwards, and we were looking for kick mark sort of targets. And I think on the day that
on a wet and windy day
worked better for them. So I was surprised as well. Peatling only had like 40 odd percentage with his centre bounces attendance. So I don't know if that was just CBAs and then he was more around the ball as the game went on, but I just assumed he'd be a bit more around the ball, particularly because he didn't play a lot of game time either. So I would have thought he'd just be on the ball when he was on the ground. Yeah. So, which is interesting. So any stats people would like?
Throw them at us, Ben.
Keep it short, sharp and shiny again. The midfield got back to winning clearance again. So after getting towed up by Port Adelaide, we won it 39-29. But where we struggled was it was the first time in ages we've had a lower inside 50 efficiency. Like we were 46% of their 53. So normally that's our strength. We get it in there and we'll kick a goal. It just, as you say, Howe was a big influence in that. We just couldn't get that connection. Whether it's the wet weather, whether it was, I don't know what it was. But, we struggled in that regard. And going into the game, turnover was going to be a big thing. Scores from turnovers, both teams really high at that. And they got us in that. They scored 67 points to our 43. So that's a big part of the difference between the two teams.
Yeah. I think this is one test that we ultimately, unfortunately, failed, but we've still got more to come. And
I think I'm glad.
I'm positive about those. I still feel positive about those at least.
I feel like the Collingwood feels like almost half the test because we do get to play them at home this year. So I think taking the balance of the two games, how we go against them at away and at home, I think that'll give us a good idea of where we're at.
Problem is we have to beat them at the MCG, don't we?
Oh, they won't make the grand final.
How many teams can beat Collingwood at the MCG though? Like it's pretty tough. It's a tough ask.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not
know?
saying it's like, and that's the thing is I wouldn't have tipped us either. So like it's not like that side of it. I don't know. It
They
just
blew Brisbane off the park a couple of weeks ago. So
yeah.
it's don't know.
Yeah, we are seeing these anomaly results though, aren't we? Look at yesterday.
I just think like
What are you talking about? The West Coast are making a late charge for the final.
I think I just don't like the kind of doomer chat about, you know, where the progression is, because I don't think winning one game against one team proves the progression at all. Like I think it's a way bigger picture.
No, but I think it is. I think we've seen a decent snapshot of where we're at this year though, against the losses we've had.
I'd probably give it till the bye to
I just feel
to
like
have the snapshot.
that
for
decent
me.
snapshot has a sitting sixth though,
Yeah, when that's the
and
other
we
thing.
would have taken sixth at the start of the year.
This is like me and Ben versus Sam.
Yeah, it
this
is.
episode. Sam feels ganged up on.
No, it's fine. I like it because obviously I am on the negative side. I understand that. My biggest thing is we're still losing to the teams we lost to last year. Like it's like that's what I think is frustrating, is that we can't seem to beat good teams coached well. That's
Well, maybe we haven't yet, but there's still time to do that.
and when was the last time we had like a really good win other than a showdown? Like
against Brisbane in the preseason?
You saw how much that meant to Worrell.
true, that's true.
No, well, I think the Essendon game at the time.
No, but Essendon was shit.
Yeah, but at the time we didn't know that Essendon was shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everyone
like a good
assumed.
team.
And after they
Essendon
played
were
us,
coming.
they weren't shit until this week. They were right up there until they got found out about this
No,
weekend.
And St Kilda.
Huh? St Kilda are arse. They got beaten by West Coast yesterday.
Yeah, but they've been pretty good up until then. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's a very topsy-turvy game.
Corey's just written in the chat, could be wrong, but not sure we have been too competitive the weekend after a showdown. And that is a good point, to be honest. Like we've cut, obviously it's a big build up to a big game and there's a lot of adrenaline going. Can you really like back it up at the MCG against Collingwood the week after? I don't know. Maybe you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have seen that a bit this year of teams struggling after big games. Or we did after that Gold Coast game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it happens. Yeah, look, I'm not doomering this. I don't.
No.
I just.
There was a lot of variables. There was wet weather. They'd rested a whole bunch of players coming off a really long break into their game. We've come off a showdown. So
Yeah.
there's a lot going on. I don't know. I just think we feel like we should be better, so we should be winning the close games against a team that we were close against last year. But I think Collingwood also are better this year than they were last year. So both teams have progressed. We haven't progressed further than them, it would seem, at this stage.
So can we discuss why we went in with the team that we did on a rainy day? Like that, it screams that we just have no flexibility or the willingness to be flexible. It's just like if we can go in unchanged, let's do it.
Yeah. Well,
Stubborn.
yeah. No, I don't know if it's stubborn or just like.
Oh, Nick's is stubborn for sure.
Well, you can't. It would be very hard to like say to Tex. Well, Tex maybe is a bad example, but to say
He
to
should be better
to
than
say
that.
to a player like, you played quite well last week, but now we're dropping you for the sake of it because we need to change the team.
But then the team we play rest players to go instead of going to Perth and then
but they can
back
afford
refreshed.
to, and also they're dickheads.
Why?
Like, well, their heads are so far up their ass.
Oh, I love that. We should be doing that. Like, if we've got the opportunity to do it, we should be doing it. I respect that, to be honest.
Well, was there one chance to rest, though? I think they're, 9 out of their last 14 back at the G? So
Yeah.
was there one big trip away that they could rest a few players and then they're pretty much home free for the rest of the year? So it's a fair luxury they've got.
Who do we play after West Coast?
Sydney, is it?
Sydney.
Yeah,
And we're
okay.
coming off another 6-day break there. So we
Sydney.
play West Coast on Sunday.
Sydney found some form on the weekend as well.
Yeah.
Although against Carlton, but,
And
Yeah.
so did West Coast. So
Yeah. Or if we can't beat West Coast, then podcast might be off.
I think we know we can beat West Coast. Surely we
have
know
a
we
lot
can
of-
beat West Coast.
have a lot of podcast ultimatums
Yeah.
that come up quite regularly.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Individual players I put down to discuss. Nankervis He was absolutely woeful early on in that game. Why are you even here type of game early on.
He was really having a shit of a morning.
Yeah.
I thought he came good in the second half though.
He rescued it somewhat.
Yeah.
He's so panicky though. Like, I don't know. I think he's probably reached the end of his time in the side if there's someone to take his spot.
He doesn't
I
look
don't
as
know where this panicky thing comes from because I think that's just how he looks. He's just like, that's just how he looks when he's playing.
Well, he tries to evade tackles too much, and he's just not big enough.
Yeah,
he's usually pretty slippery and can keep out of a tackle. It's
He's
his
pretty good at
disposal.
manoeuvring.
He doesn't look as confident by foot as he had previously.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be sad seeing him in the outs this week. Whereas, and I'm a fan, so that's Miller probably had his worst game, I think.
Didn't even notice him, to be honest.
he was a shocker. He had an absolute nightmare.
He did handball it though.
Yeah, he did handball it.
He
Yes,
was
that
very
was a
good at
handball.
legal handballs. Yes.
Yeah, Mitch Hinge was excellent.
Yeah.
His second half especially in the last quarter, he was one player that really bloody looked like he wanted to win that game, and it was great to see. The other two that I had there were both negatives, which were Keys and Neil Bullen, which you brought up
Where
earlier.
were they?
Yeah, Keys. He missed that like sitter that he should have nailed in the first quarter, and then you basically didn't see him again. So that was a really strange game from him. And Neil Bullen tagging, I think I listened to Crowcast today and they brought up, like, is Neil Bullen a tagger? Can't actually remember him tagging at Melbourne. So
He has in the past done a really good job on Nick Dacos playing for Melbourne.
Yeah.
right. Okay. Yeah. It was, well, he seems to be shit at it for us for some reason. So,
But he has done it in Melbourne, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think I actually discussed that last week. You weren't here though, so
No.
you probably missed that bit.
No, that's right.
But,
I had you on mute.
Just me.
Was it more Peatling or Neil Bullen who took on Dacos throughout the day?
I think it was Neil
Don't
Bullen
really know.
because I remember specifically being like, where the fuck is Neil Bullen? And he needs to kind of step it up. And someone said, well, isn't he on Dacos? Well, Dacos isn't doing shit, so how about you do something?
I remember the other thing I was going to bring up about Nankervis, defensive slip-ups too, where he's, there was a time where he was just floating 30 metres off the player that he should have been defending. It was just footy smarts, I think, that failed him there. But, look, it was, I don't know.
It wasn't the greatest game.
No, it was a shit game, really. I think maybe I'm just a bit negative. Just a bit negative about football in general at the moment, to be honest.
It was a very wet, messy game. Low scoring both sides and just
Long kicks down the line. Was certainly our game plan. But
I won't lie, I was doing this and like screaming into my shirt for most of it.
Do you know
because
what?
I was actually just so pissed off.
I had one moment that I was really angry and I threw this little toy that Lizzie gives me just so I to stop chewing my fingernails. But after that, like, I was just zen. I was just watching it, just like I lost care,
well,
especially in the last quarter.
that Miller handball throw decision. I was in the middle of feeding Caleb and there was a fair old on the table.
Oh, careful, Ben.
And Caleb's just
Ben threw out a get stuffed at Caleb.
Caleb, his eyes just went wide. I was like, what's this all about?
Yeah.
But yes. So there was a bit of frustration at moments there.
I think I think by the last quarter I just knew what was happening. So I'd just sort of given up.
When Billy Frampton was about 5 meters away from the goal line and tapped it through and they didn't call deliberate.
Oh, well,
I was like,
they couldn't have called deliberate after the one we gave up because that was way more deliberate.
that was at least he was near the goal line. He wasn't 10 meters away
but
from
the
it.
rule's where the defender is. It doesn't matter how close you are. It's whether if there's any pressure on you is the rule. So
is that the Mark Keane one you're talking about?
Yeah, where he just stepped backwards over the line.
Well, the guy was right there.
That should have been deliberate. That's textbook.
What's the thing? Textbook. What is textbook? There's nothing.
But the defender was further than the square away. So
I can't remember.
He was he had a lot of space. Anyway, doesn't matter.
But everyone plays for the I'm fumbly, blah blah blah, and then let's just try and get it over without making it look like I'm trying to get.
Well,
it
the
over.
players don't even really understand the rule. I don't think because if you've got a player near you or you're being tackled, you're well within your rights to rush it.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah. Anyway, let's do some votes. Lauren, what do you got?
I gave 3 to Dawson because he he's back. The skipper was back. I gave 2 to Fogg. He's got 4 goals. So, and I actually gave 1 to Saligo. I almost gave it to Hinge, but I just thought Saligo was pretty shit in the first little bit, and then he had a whole quarter off, and then he came back and he just absolutely smashed it. So I'm giving him 1.
Nice, Ben.
Same as Lauren.
Really? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting him to be the same as anyone's, but yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I gave 3 to someone you guys didn't give a vote to. I gave 3 to Hinge. I just thought his game was excellent. Certainly a bit of a return to where we want to see him. Fogg for 2, his 4 goals. You know, if he wasn't in our forward line, I think we would have massively struggled. His ability to mark in all conditions is so important to this team. So, and I gave 1 to Dawson. Did we see what Dan did? Did he put votes in?
Oh, yeah, he did. Sorry.
I'll just check what they are.
3 to Dawson, 2 to Fogg, 1 to Saligo. So there's one odd person out, it seems, tonight.
Yeah, 3 people that were wrong. That's weird.
Seems unlikely.
Dan had some analysis of the game. Is it boring? Oh, yeah, it's a bit boring.
Hi, I'm Tyson Edwards.
Heavy.
You're such a quiet achiever.
Sorry if you expected us to read that out. Dan.
Oh, look at it all. That's like a Dirk message.
Yeah, I know. Like, you might as well just ring up and say it.
Quite achiever, Lauren. Who you got?
I actually gave it to Curtin this week. I thought he was he had some flashes of brilliance and much better than last week. Just unfortunately missed that goal.
Yes. Yeah, that was.
Which
that was a bad
I'll
miss.
give him. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt of that one. I'm sure
Yeah.
he wouldn't miss those very regularly because he is a very
No.
good kick.
Yes.
And the ball was wet.
Ball was wet.
The ball was wet. That's the rule. The ball was wet. Everything's wet.
Everything's okay if the ball's wet.
Oh, I'd love to see Phoenix Crowcast do I could have kicked that in the wet.
He did bring this up
Yeah.
on his podcast last night, and he said that if his hammies weren't so bad, he would he'd be out there.
convenient.
Oh, geez. I'm still waiting up for the call up as Strath's best footballer. so-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Who you got for yours, Ben?
Well, me and Lauren have got some real observational synergy going on because I also had Curtin as well.
Yeah, so did I. Who did Dan have?
He had your
He
man,
had Hinge.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, Hinge got
Quietly
some
doing it.
credit.
Quietly going about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, is that all we need to discuss about this game?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't want to dwell on it too much, you know.
No, that's fair. All right.
We'll probably be dwelling on it
I
at
don't
the end of
think
the year.
it's not as bad as it sometimes seems, but it could have been better. I don't know. I think the best comment I heard, also read on the weekend, someone was saying how we kept shooting ourselves in the foot and the umpires were shooting us in the face.
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought that
That was
that
pretty
sounds
spot
about
on.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
If you want to know what's in the spring, get into Rowan Jarman.
I don't have anything.
Okay, I'm going to give you something. Nathan Fielder. You watched Nathan For You?
No.
All right. Well, Nathan For You is a very good show, but he's
Okay.
got a new show, and it's actually not that new. He's got the second season's just started, but the show's called The Rehearsal,
I've
and
heard about this.
I didn't watch the first season, but last night we decided to give the first episode of the first season a crack. Oh my God, this guy is hilarious. If you haven't seen Nathan For You, definitely check that out. But The Rehearsal is basically the concept is he's rehearsing for a real life event. So he put out a little ad to, on Craigslist to be like, do you want to be on this TV show? Do you have a regret that you want to like deal with basically? And so a man answered and he said his regret is that he has told his friends at trivia night, the quiz team, that he's got a master's degree, and that is in fact not true. And he has been lying to his friends for 12 years that he's got this master's degree, and his friend keeps finding jobs for him that need a master's degree, and he can't handle it anymore.
Right.
So basically, Nathan Fielder recreates the entire event before it happens and builds a whole set of like the pub that he goes to and like his house and the apartment, and basically rehearses it with this person.
Right.
And at the end, they do the real thing. That's all I can say about it without completely ruining it and taking way too long. But it is so dumb and funny, and I definitely recommend it. It's so
Okay.
stupid.
Yeah.
If you've got some free time and you want to watch something weird.
Yeah.
it's
Well, I do
pretty good.
like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you watched The Curse that he's in?
No.
I highly recommend that. That's it's got the most bizarre ending to a TV show I've ever seen in my life, but it's worth it.
All right.
Yeah,
Noted.
Emma Stone is in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see the adverts for it, but yeah.
It's very cool.
Definitely check out the rehearsal. Very funny.
Talking about TV, I just started watching season 2 of Andor. That really is the best Star Wars content out there, in my opinion.
I've been watching it passively, and yeah, Matt's really enjoying it.
It's just so much better than all the other rubbish they've been releasing. It's just the story. It's a nice story. Or an actual story, not just the formulaic crap that most of the other shows are based on. So,
Yeah.
anyway, very passionate about
I just
Star
started
Wars.
watching new Black Mirror too.
Oh, yeah, I've watched that.
yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I've always enjoyed that. Very good. Ben, you got any good things? Anything good happen to you?
12 mils of rain on Saturday was nice.
Yeah, the rain was
Jackpot.
good. Yeah, enjoyed that.
Bit more of that would be good.
Yeah.
Footwear sacrificed at half price and equipment slashed to half price. Rowan Jarman's huge half price sale. Don't miss it.
Bad is how many comments we're getting in the chat tonight.
Yeah,
Come on,
none.
guys. We're
Where are
getting
ya?
absolute crickets in there.
You guys out there?
As busy as the pub.
Yeah, we told Ben to get on the comments tonight, and he's seeing one per 10 minutes
Yeah.
coming through.
Did you guys get scared because Ben's on there watching?
Yeah, no. He
they're not talking about him now.
If it helps, I keep forgetting to go look at it.
Nothing's happening there, Ben.
Yeah, we need some contents, guys, please. But you got something bad
Yeah,
as well, Lauren?
bad. No milkshake man in the Eurovision final. What the hell?
I've got
Go
no
Joe.
idea what you're talking about here.
Didn't get voted in. That is
Right.
bullshit. You had the best song ever.
Right. I know nothing about it. Did you watch Eurovision?
Well, when I was working in bars, I did get around Eurovision a bit because it
Yeah.
was always on live, like super late.
Yeah, okay.
And the second year that Australia entered, we let Dami Im go, and she nearly won it. She came second
Why are we in it?
because we love it. Because we're like a
not
we're like a
in Europe?
special guest,
Right.
basically.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, Gojo didn't make it.
Mm.
Pretty bummed about that. That's the only bad I have. Sorry.
Oh, Lizzie just messaged me. I don't know if that's we can talk about it here, but an obvious bad is bloody Adam Selwood.
Oh yeah, shit.
Crazy. Like, it's usually my bads are jovial and made to make people laugh more than anything, but
Yeah.
obviously not this one. But yeah, it's crazy news, isn't it? I sort of
Yeah.
almost saw the story. Well, Lizzie told me about the story, but you could have been forgiven to think, oh God, it's like, is this just old news from his brother? And another one's gone.
It's
So
absolutely
yeah, crazy.
horrific.
Yeah.
It goes without saying that if you're struggling, like, please reach out to someone.
Yeah.
Because just the detrimental effect on the family would be so intense.
Yeah.
Can't even imagine it. It's horrible.
Yeah, no good at all. Any bads, Ben?
I don't really want to follow that one up. There, Sam.
fair.
This is the worst of the worst, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. All right. Well, what are we going to do now? I don't really know. Do you want?
No one in the Crows chat's given us any questions either.
No.
We can go dog act. I've got a dog act.
You gonna
yeah.
do one?
Yeah.
All right. Oh my God.
Dog act. Well, obviously the biggest dog act of the game this weekend was the call for a throw when there was a very clear fist to the ball for Wayne Miller. And the umpire who called the throw was behind the play, couldn't even see it. So why are we just making shit up at this point? How about, a million throws get given through the game.
Oh, on a wet day, how many are actually legitimate?
Yeah,
handballs?
so
Well, yeah.
if you're going to call that, at least make sure
Stop
it is.
guessing.
Well, there's no need for it.
No one benefits from you idiots guessing. It's
Honestly,
just so
I felt like that
stupid.
killed our momentum. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, because what can he do? And he's like, he can't debate it.
No.
He can't be like, check the replay because then it's a 50.
Yeah.
Like, what the
And
fuck?
yet again, it comes back to my biggest bugbear of umpires down the line, obviously just paying free kicks that they can't.
Yeah,
they're not
there's an
paying.
umpire closer.
They're not reversing free kicks. They're only paying them from a much worse position, generally
yeah,
speaking.
it's exactly what you said.
It's so frustrating. Anyway,
All right, hit the button. If you're standing behind
Give the kick to Dennis.
if you're standing behind play, how can you positively say Wayne threw that one away? Dog act.
nice.
Oh, got there in the
You
end.
did. Well done.
positively in there is a bit hard. Spit out.
Yeah, that makes it difficult.
Oh, dear.
All right, well, that was good. Well, we've got a little bit of social media, but do you got to pose a Crows question?
Oh, well, I don't know what I'm posing.
No?
What kind of question am I posing?
Excuse me. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
We've already talked about who could potentially coach us.
Yeah, no, that's true. That was it. Yeah, that was probably.
What are the other Crows questions getting around at this point?
Geez, we are struggling
Yeah.
for content tonight, aren't we?
I don't know.
We've had no one in the chat giving us anything. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to be rude to you, of course. Appreciate you watching. Yeah, look, I don't know. Just in a bit of a does anyone else feel? Are you enjoying football at the moment? Like, are you coming around to the weekend and going, yeah, good, footy's back?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I still enjoy it, but maybe the heartbreak I can't take too much longer. You know.
Oh, I'm not even talking necessarily Crows. I'm just in general. Like,
Well, I'll be honest. I haven't been watching many games outside of the Crows games. I think I'm just like, it's a bit like it's too much going on. There's too many games, and I'm just like consuming too much. So I really have backed off. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of like that there's been a few upsets this weekend. Like, obviously no one expected Melbourne to beat the Lions, and no one expected West Coast to beat St Kilda. So
Yeah.
I kind of do like that there's been a few upset games, and you know, a team like West Coast who are shit can actually come out firing and like really like make the round a little bit more interesting. But other than that, yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
Regardless whether it's our game or no, I'm just finding at the moment, whether it's the rules or the way they're being adjudicated, it's just too much. There's too much emphasis on how well a game is umpired as to which way the result goes. It's really makes it, really frustrating to watch. It's not like, yep, the better team definitely won this. It's like, oh, this team got lucky and this team didn't.
Yeah.
And
have you noticed, I've complained about this in the past about bad umpires, bad commentators, commentating on whether they, just almost play by play, whether it should have been a free kick
Gary
or not.
Lyon in our game was horrendous at that. The amount of times, that should have been a free against the Crows. Oh, that was a free against the Crows.
And it used to be just the domain of shit commentators, but it's really crept into even good ones, I think.
And it just shows up that, everyone's got their own little biases. I think at the start of the game, Lyon was saying how, probably a lot of people are hoping the Crows don't make it, but blah, 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 blah. So just sort of showing that, there's this long standing we really don't like the Crows.
Yeah, he was terrible. I generally don't hate Gary Lyon, but that, made me, I was pretty annoyed by him, to be honest.
There was a lot of Collingwood love in that commentary box.
Yes, there was for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I just feeling a touch. I don't know, disengaged or something with football at the moment, even with the Crows doing moderately well.
Well, you know the reason why I'm looking forward to football. It's the reason I'm not allowed to talk about.
Oh, no. Well, we're not talking about that.
Yeah,
so,
no. No.
Oh, we got a comment.
All right.
Did you hear Rowi's rumour tonight that Chris Scott could be coming to Adelaide, all because apparently someone saw him looking to buy a house in Hyde Park? Lol.
Okay. Well, Chris is... he's got many jobs, so he can afford to buy a house in Hyde Park.
Oh, I've had to succumb to the fact that Chris Scott is a good coach. As much as I've wanted to say that his lack of premiership up until he did win one was a real knock against him, considering how good of a team Geelong have had.
A few off-field free kicks their way as well.
Yeah,
doesn't hurt.
Why would he want to leave all his sweet sponsor roles?
Maybe the audit results have come in.
It's done. He's just going to move to Adelaide. We'll grant him asylum over here when he has to coach the Crows.
With a sneaky little Balfour's deal on the
Yeah,
side.
maybe.
So,
Yeah, that'd be good. Poor old Rowi's gone a bit early again. Yeah. Well, what was Rowi's rumour last week? Didn't he have one that popped up last week that he was so sure about?
I don't know. Don't know if he had a rumour, but he was talking about the Dan Curtin go home factor and whether we should take some top end picks, which I don't like. I don't like it.
Well, I think that was just pushed out because some Western Australian Channel 10 decided to say what he'd do to rebuild the West Coast Eagles, and then that turned into this multi-day is Dan going home story when it was just Paul Hazelby saying what he'd do to try and get the Eagles back up the ladder. So I don't think there was a lot of
Would you
legs in
listen
that.
to offers though?
You'd want high, like you'd want to guarantee that you'd get someone pretty high in the draft. You wouldn't go like Hazelby was going, you just get a late first rounder for him.
Oh, yeah.
I would not do that. No.
No, what, 2 years after he went at what, pick?
Six. Oh, no, it was 8 because
Eight, I think, yeah.
because everything gets pushed back.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't do that. It would be the Eagles are going to have a lot of draft picks potentially if they lose Harley Reid and Oscar Allen. We'd want one of those pointy end ones.
Yeah.
Big time, yeah.
Unless it was really, really pointy end, I'd say we just keep the guy who we know he's going to end up being a pretty good player.
I said this on the pod a couple of years ago when we got him, that I've had a sneaking suspicion that we've taken him on some like proviso that he's going to go home, and we're going to trade back for some decent picks. Obviously, this is just like a very small
Rowie.
hunch. No, I know nothing. This is just it was always it just felt like the whole getting him at the time felt like a strange one. So I just felt like there might have been something to it. Could be completely off the mark. Like, yeah, not saying I know anything, just a hunch.
The only other speaking of like trade, and I know this is sensible career areas, but maybe we can talk about it briefly. But sounds like Sam Draper's not coming over here anymore.
No.
Sounds like he's going to sign on with the Bombers.
Well, that's what Toomey said, didn't he?
Yeah, and
That was a week ago. It was signed, sealed, and delivered. That was our
yeah,
rumours.
things changed pretty quickly. I guess like now that he's done the Achilles, that might have changed things dramatically. And then I guess that really means our only big name target is Wangani Miller. So I would, I mean, in
And
my
it was-
gut, I feel like he's going to re-sign at the Saints and we're not going to get a look in, but surely he's not thinking about Port at this point.
Well, everyone says that he's got much closer ties to Port Adelaide, and that's the team he'd want to go to.
Yeah, but they're an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go there?
If they lose Butters, well, they might have a lot of money to give him, so maybe he will choose there.
I really just see him staying at the Saints at this point, to be honest.
Yeah.
mean,
But why would you stay there either?
Well,
Lukosius went to Port.
They're paying you.
Port
You might as
because
well.
Yeah, Lukosius went there because he has a buddy there. So Nazaya it might just be that there's the connections and he wants to.
Well,
play
there
with
was
people
that
he knows.
rumour that I sent you that apparently he doesn't really like the idea of Port and that Crows are on top of the list.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it's just a rumour. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's true.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'd absolutely love him. I think he would. It takes a bit of a reshuffle. He can have Miller's spot.
Oh wait, wasn't there a rumour that we had a 7-year deal on the table for him or something like that? I read last week.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, he wants to,
And he'd be the highest paid player in the Cruise.
and he wants to eventually be a midfielder, not a halfback. So you'd be spending up for him with the hope that he becomes your best midfielder, not necessarily your best halfback.
Yeah. He would make our team a lot better.
Him and Rankin in the midfield.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, that
All
would
right.
be pretty. That would be pretty nice. Yeah. All right.
Maybe we can get it done.
Yeah. It'd be nice. I hope we go hard for someone. I think that would be good. All right. Maybe we got a bit.
Out of bounds on the full.
Actually, I thought we had more. We've got 2. Do you have anything on Twitter? No one ever talks to us on Twitter anymore. I think everyone's left. Benny Mack said, "We bounce back this week and all is fine in the world again." That's a very positive spin on things.
I think it might have not been without some sarcasm.
Maybe. Yeah, potentially.
There has been a lot of comments, we'll win this week, and then, everyone forgets. And it's like, well, we don't get to choose who we get to play the following week. We just have to play West Coast and hopefully we get a percentage booster.
Yeah, and honestly, don't you want to feel the thrill of a win, even if it is against West Coast?
No, it's a no-win game against West Coast. They are so shit.
I think if we win, it's still a win.
Well, it's still a win.
Yeah, it's still a win.
Still a
You
win. It's
told
still-
me it was no win.
Well, it's still 4 points, but the thing is,
I'm taking it as a win.
I'll have the 4 points, thanks.
yeah. I'm not. You're an idiot. And Bozza said, "Gosh, I gave up my membership this year, and the last 2 games I've been to have been Collingwood away. Great."
Boy, Bozza, I'll go with you next year. I'd love to actually do that. I reckon it'd be hilarious. You don't need to talk to me outside of the game at all, but I'll come sit with you at the game.
Where do you reckon Bozza goes after the game?
Oh, back to the hotel room.
We won't suppose. All right. Well, that's just thrilling
that's
social
that.
media,
Yeah,
wasn't
great.
it?
Oof.
All right. Let's just talk about this shit game coming up that we should win.
Okay. Well, we should win, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
We really should.
Yeah.
If we don't, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what
if
I
we
mean
don't, the
by
pod is
obviously
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we don't win this game, we are terrible. And if we,
Well, we've just done ourselves in.
Yeah.
Really.
yeah,
We don't believe in it. Mm-hmm. If we lose this weekend, you can say sayonara to Matthew Nicks.
yes, you can for sure. And if we win it, I guess it really doesn't say much about the team either. That's the problem.
Well, it's an expected win, isn't it?
Yeah. So
Maybe it'll be a chance that they look at some other players. Who knows? Who knows?
I've got a feeling
Give it a couple of days.
idiot.
they're not going to
As if they're going to do that.
they're not going to rest Tex, and he's going to kick 10, and then he'll be playing the next week.
Yeah, great.
No doubt.
That'll do the team a load of good, won't it?
So I'll give you some quick fire stats for West Coast.
All
So record 18th, 1 win against the Saints, 9 losses against everybody else. Stats, so they are 18th for kicks, 17th for handballs, 18th for hit-outs, 18th for contested possession, 18th for uncontested possession, 18th for stoppage clearances, 17th for centre clearances, and 17th for disposal efficiency.
Yeah, right.
So that's a
They are
pretty
terrible.
That's a lot of bad stats. Score sources: we're first for turnover. Scores from turnover, they're 16th. We're 11th for scoring from stoppages, so we're a bit weaker at that, but they're 18th. The best thing they are is they're 5th for getting scores from kick in, but it's still a very low number. And we're still 3rd. So
Right.
Well, hopefully we'll actually be kicking some goals this week rather than them kicking it in.
So looking at the raw numbers, you would hope that we're going to go all right this weekend.
How's the weather looking? Ooh,
Wet.
rain.
Wet.
Oh, we'll just drop a small and bring in another, maybe Burgess or someone. That'd be good.
Go on.
Go on.
Who are you bringing in?
Well, if it's wet, like surely we rest Tex this week. If we don't rest Tex this week in the wet against West Coast, we aren't a serious football team.
Does he need a rest? Are you
Well,
Darren
it
Burgess?
Well, it looked like it.
Well, just because he does not making an impact of the game doesn't mean he needs a rest.
But, like-
have you got his GPS stats there?
No, I just need to watch. Well, the thing is, we need
Who's coming in though?
we
If
need
they
life
drop him,
after Tex, though, don't we?
well, yeah, of course, and I totally agree, and
Yeah.
I think he will be rested. But I'm just curious who would come in.
Peddler.
Oh, yeah. Well, fuck. Is this Sanford bias shit? It's not.
Oh, I know.
It's no
yeah,
good,
it's
is
so
it?
annoying. Yeah, this.
Like, we've got
Sandford's
nothing to
such a
measure him
shit
up to.
backup comp. Yeah,
But I would like to see Pedler get another run. Yes.
that would be my pick.
Barry
but
get a full game.
yeah, I think seeing these half games from Berry isn't doing him or us any favours, unfortunately, because he's coming in and looking pretty good. But he's done that before, and the last we saw him playing full games wasn't amazing. So I think we need to see that to be, to know what we need to do with him at the end of the year. Whether I don't even know who his contract is, but yeah.
And would Pedler come into the forward line, or would he come into the sub position?
Well, you'd want to see probably him play a full game and probably up forward, I would imagine. Yeah.
And if Nank was a bit poor, maybe swapping him out for like an Edwards.
Now we're getting into territory that is probably fantasy, but that's what I'd like to see. We should probably hear what we will be doing. Actually, that's a good point.
Hear from the man himself.
Hey guys, round 11 from
I didn't do the thing.
Oh God! Yeah, see, it's hard, isn't it?
It is actually doing it all is not fun. All right, here we go.
Yes. It's like a sauna in here.
Hey guys, round 11 from the motor vehicle, picking up my children from school.
Hey, girls.
No sauna tonight, but anyway, was at the MCG. Ugh, fucking over it. Round 11, Care factor 0 at the moment. 4 changes, 3 resting, 1 dropped. Edwards, Ryan, Cook, Draper in. 2 debuts. Jizza dropped, needs a rest. And Saligo, Tex and Laird actually do need a rest. Berry, chuck him on straight in the middle for a full game. And Ryan can be sub. Anyway, that's it. Next, guys. Speak to you next week.
Cheers, Bozza. Can't believe you didn't say peddler. What the hell? You've been on the peddler train for like the last month.
That was most surprising. I don't mind his Saligo call. Not dropped, but rested.
He does need, well, he obviously does need it because, I mean, he had 1 quarter rest on the weekend and came out firing. So, yeah, he probably is pretty knackered, poor bloke.
Yeah. Corey put in there that Sid Draper made for wet weather footy, and I couldn't agree more. I think he has to come in as well. I don't know who at the expense of who, but surely we can just reshuffle. We got a million halfbacks. Just take one of them out.
Well, I mean, if Sam Berry can get a full game, then Sid can come in as the sub again. Not ideal, obviously, but he also hasn't played Samful for the last couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, not sure. Stupid Samful. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure, but I don't know. We need to mix things up a little bit. The half back situation is annoying me. I think we need to make some changes there. Just where like the Nankervis Miller sort of spots. I wouldn't mind seeing Cumming go back to rather than on a wing.
It would have been an interesting move to try and get him a bit more involved in the game, you think?
He's such a good kick. I don't know why we wouldn't want to get him involved more. And Miller is doing everything he can to miss our players, so we'll just get Cumming there. Miller is annoying me at the moment.
He's about to sign a 3-year deal.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, I'm feeling. It sounds like me and Bozza are about on the same page here at the moment. Yeah. Very much lacking enthusiasm. All right, what are we doing? Are we just going to tip and then
look, I just sorry, go Ben.
No, I'd only just thought of a very belated good for your segment, Sam.
Oh, yeah.
Joel Amati out for 3 weeks. Can't kick 10 goals on us.
Oh, there we go. That's true. Yeah.
Is that late in that news?
No, it
news?
just came back to my head. No, he did a very silly bump on the weekend, and he's out for unless they have challenged it, but I don't know how they could challenge it. He's out for 3 weeks.
Absolutely amazing. We let him kick that many goals on
us.
Well,
not this year. Don't you worry, because he's not playing.
Didn't he have like 3 disposals the week after he kicked them on us?
Yeah. There's one out of the box for the Marty party.
That was insane.
Well, Sam, you're talking about tests, and obviously this week it's a must-win game. Should win, have to win game. Yes. Otherwise, what the fuck? But next 3 are pretty tough. Sydney, Brisbane, then Hawks.
Yes.
I think that's our test.
That's the test.
We've got to win 2 out of 3 of those to be like, okay, we're contending. 1 out of 3, wouldn't love that.
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're...
Although we are playing Hawks in Tassie, so I'm going to call that a loss.
Yeah. Well, Hawks haven't been setting the world alight, have they? Like, I would be disappointed to lose to them.
In Tassie, it's always very hard against the Hawks, but without Will Day, they are a different team.
It seems it, isn't it? He seems to make such a difference to that side. All right. Well, we're just going to tip and then leave? Just wrap things up?
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah. All right. What do you think,
I like
Lauren?
an early night.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I think the Crows are going to win. I'm going to say 44 points.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, right.
Okay. Yep. So Eagles are on a high. They won their first game. It might have taken a bit out of them, though. So hopefully they're struggling a bit against us. If we turn up to play, we should have them covered. Wet weather might bring it closer than my predicted win, but I had us going for a 72-point win.
72. Yeah, right. Okay.
Okay, you thought I was being
generous.
generous.
I thought you were being over the top.
Well, right. they are 18th. It's not an outrageous guess.
No.
It's true.
No, that's, okay. I think, I don't think you're, well, the line's at 50. Yeah, right. Okay. Interesting.
We'll see. Don't know.
It's one of those games, though, isn't it, that you see it'll just be, if we get on top of them, it'll just be a rout and really quiet. But remember that game we watched, and we watched it from that weird different spot when, what's his name, found us some seats. It was a wet game against West Coast maybe a couple of years ago now. And we had that different spot in the members stand. It was quite a nice spot because there was no crowd there because it was a boring game.
Well, and it was wet.
Yeah, and it was wet. That was a game that someone yelled out at Matt Crouch to stay off the ground when he came off.
Yeah.
You remember that? Yeah. Anyway, I feel like it's just going to be a bit like that. Just pretty dull.
That was the one, was it Fogger kicked a goal and it just bounced from 8 way away as well?
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Yep. I don't know. Are you going to go? Are you going?
I am going, yeah.
Okay. Are you going?
Yeah, I'll go. If you're not going, I'll get the
I'm actually
ticket for
bringing
Henry.
I'm bringing along some friends. So,
yeah.
I have to go.
Yeah,
I can't even bail on it.
Yeah, I might see how I'm feeling on Sunday morning, I reckon. It's one of those games. Yeah. Anyway, I think we'll win. I'm going to go with like 36. I reckon they might stay within the line for me. But what do you got? Lauren's ordering a KFC.
No, just looking at a secret menu.
I reckon
They've got a triple stacker.
Yeah, I saw that.
Eagles could keep the momentum of showing form from the weekend and really challenge us, or they could have just used all their tickets on the weekend and then do what Richmond did after they beat Carlton in the first round.
Yeah.
So, who
Yeah.
knows?
Yes. All right.
Thanks
That's it.
everyone for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, team.
Thanks for the interaction or lack of.
Sorry for a bit of a down pod this week. I don't know. It just feels.
Yeah, we're unenthused.
Yeah, it was probably the wrong week for me to come back and do a hosting job too because
Sorry.
I have no enthusiasm. No, you don't need to apologise.
Yeah.
It was my turn. But
Maybe
I'm
we
lacking,
need to give you an upper before we do it.
I'm lacking enthusiasm in general for football at the moment. Not in life. I'm actually going all right at the moment.
Oh, that's good.
Things are all right. Yeah.
good.
So I'm not sad.
Okay.
But it's just, yeah,
The
it's just
footy's not doing
football's
it for
just
ya.
not doing it for me. Yeah. I think I've just got too much other shit on my mind at the moment.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
footy's taking a
Bigger
back
picture
seat.
this season, it's not that bad. We're still sixth.
Yeah, but you
We're
always
doing
say
okay.
that.
Well, when in the last 4 years of this have we been sixth to be able to say it's not that bad?
Will you be negative if we lose to West Coast?
I would be pretty scathing with a loss to West Coast.
Please lose to West Coast. I want to see
I
scathing Ben.
want to see Ben get angry.
We haven't had to get stuffed for ages.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just think that the seasons we haven't won everything that we should have won, but it hasn't been terrible. It's been
It
all right.
definitely hasn't been terrible. And I see some comments out there on the internet. And, I think you do have to see the bright side of things sometimes because otherwise you will just want to, you won't want to watch this game.
No.
You won't want to be a Crows fan.
But yeah,
Don't be like that.
you
I
do
haven't
want
wanted to be a Crows fan for about 10 years.
But
Don't be like that. Come on. It's okay.
putting aside all the things that have been frustrating about the year, we're sixth and we're one of the highest scoring teams in the comp. That's two pretty nice things to have as a supporter, surely.
It's pretty. I'm happy.
Surely.
No.
I'm happy. We should be happy.
Should I? All right. I'll be happy.
What will
Thanks,
make you
Lauren.
happy? A flag might be a while.
Yeah.
It'd be like, but really, was it really a flag? It was a bit of a no flag sort of a game, that one. So.
We're not winning the flag, are we? If we were, we would be able to beat teams that seem to stump us every time if we're going to win a flag.
None of us thought we were
Good
going into
teams
this season
lose
to win
too.
the flag.
Yeah, I know.
Brisbane lost.
Yeah.
Brisbane lost on the
lost to
weekend
Melbourne.
to
Yeah, but-
Melbourne. The shambolic Melbourne.
Yeah. No, but we've done it. We've done it a few times this year, haven't we?
Collingwood lost one time. Just not against us, unfortunately.
Yeah. No.
But
it can be done.
we've lost it a few times. But is our greatest losing margin still 18 points?
19, I think.
That Freo game? So,
No, that was a Geelong. We lost by 19 points.
oh,
didn't
well,
we?
18 and 9 are all two blowouts.
Yeah, well-
so, yeah.
Well, that was just a bad loss because we were in front for all of it. But this one we weren't. We were just trying to claw back.
I'd
the
forgotten
whole
about
time.
the Freo game. That now I'm even more off the Crows. I'd actually wipe that from my memory, that one.
Look, can't win them all, but hopefully we can win at least 15.
That'd be nice.
All right, let's go.
Bye.
Bye team.